Hello, Stephen Long here, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Gaston's Great podcast. This week's episode is part 2 of a 2-part recording in an effort to keep each episode a little shorter. If you've not heard part 1 from last week, I would encourage you to go back and listen to that part first. Thanks again, and we hope you enjoy it. So, man, this has really been good. So how did you... This wasn't on the question list. I'm going to ask anyway. So how did you find out and learn about the Dream Center Academy? How did you guys get connected to it? And I'll start maybe with you. Phil, how did that happen?
I remember I had just finished a flag football game.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pastor from this church, Bethlehem, I think so. Yeah. He came up to me and he talked to my mom about this opportunity, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't come in when they came in. I came like a year later.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, that's how I really found out about it.
So you're talking about Dickie Spargo, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. Kennedy, how about you?
So I was one of the original students, so I've been here all 7 years.
Good for you.
In 5th grade, my teachers saw potential in me, and as well as being a first-generation college graduate. So my teachers recommended me. I filled out an application. I wrote an essay. And my application got chosen, so I got accepted.
Just curious, do you remember what the essay was about?
I can't remember.
I don't remember we had to write an essay. So
Maybe Kennedy was the only one that had to.
Maybe, because I don't remember that. I remember my teacher, he just came up to me one day and he gave me like a packet of just papers, and he was like, "Hey, this is for you." And then I remember I got home and I opened it with my parents because we were like pretty new to the U.S., so none of us spoke English that well. And I remember my mom just pulled out Google Translate and was translating all the papers because we had no clue what we were doing. And I think because my mom and my parents have always just been one of those people that are like, if opportunity is upon you or something arises, you take the opportunity.
Oh, sure.
And we didn't really know anything about it because Dream Center wasn't established yet.
Right.
Like the reputation or anything like that. So we didn't really know what was going to come of it. We didn't know we were going to be here for 7 years. We were going to go to amazing schools like UNC. So we were just getting that. And then I remember I applied. I don't remember writing an essay, though. I just remember filling out an application. And then I don't even know if we got an email or a call saying that we got accepted. I really don't remember anything about it because it's just been so long.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I can't remember last week, much less 6 or 7 years ago, right? And
no, it's not an essay. They have questions, but Kennedy responded so well to the questions, she thought she was writing an essay.
Each answer was an essay. And this was back, originally it was out off of, near the church, right? Isn't that where it originally started, or did
There was a Dream Center of Gaston County. That was our name previously, the nonprofit. Yeah. And the church out at West Campus of Bethlehem Church at that time, now City Church, was running a program called Dream Center of Gaston County that was serving folks in that area of the community.
Right.
Providing some frequent services such as daddy-daughter date night. They did a day camp in the summertime. But then when Dickie Spargo heard about a program in Durham called Student U, he visited there, and Student U is our parent program, we'd say, because we patterned after them. Dickie called me in 2016 with the idea for Dream Center Academy. We visited Student U, and then by July 2017, we were opening our doors. Nice,
okay. Yeah, I remember going to a meeting out at that church that Dickie set up just for some community people, and about would this be realistic? Would the community support it? That kind of stuff. Which is, I'm very fortunate to be involved in some of those things. As they come along, which basically means I've been around a long time. It means I'm old. So, Roxann, one thing I did mean to ask at the very beginning is, has anything dramatic happened in the last 2.5 years with the Dream Center Academy? Any big changes or anything, or other than obviously getting this first class? That's such a big accomplishment. Is there anything else that you wanted to give you an opportunity to share? Because we are, just as a general piece of information, we are bringing back some of those organizations that we talked to 3 years ago, just because so many of them have changed and have had dramatic things happen. And there might not be. I was just curious.
Yes, definitely. Our first class graduating
It
shows the success of our program and the success of being in a program for 7 years. I think that's what makes the difference, as I said earlier. But the other dramatic thing for me is that we were a new program, and people didn't know who we were, and now the community has heard of Dream Center Academy. And so we've created a lot of partnerships, friendships. As Kennedy mentioned, we do a sponsor a scholar program, and so we have sponsors that contribute to our program, but they get to know one of our students in high school and become in that mentor-like relationship with the high school students. So that has brought us a lot of new friends into our program. So we feel like we're not just the academy of our staff and students, but we go well beyond that with the partnerships we have in the community.
Yeah, I know. I've just heard about it so much more in the last couple of years, and so many more things going on. So again, I appreciate you sharing that. But guys, this has been great. Now, before we finish, we'll give you guys all the last word before we finish this up. However, I mentioned that you guys are going to have to endure these Gaston County related questions, right? This is super important. This is really what your friends and family, everybody wants to know about you, right? Okay. So, Chill, we're starting with you again.
Okay, I love the nickname.
So the first question is, and I'm going to assume you've been there, what's your favorite Tony's ice cream flavor?
I've been there once, 10 years ago.
Really?
But
that counts then.
Okay. But I'm just a basic chocolate person.
Well, you know what? Me too. That's my favorite. And I know some people said that's boring, but it's good. Kennedy?
I don't eat ice cream. So
you've never been to Tony's?
No, I've had a hot dog before.
Their food's good. So what's your favorite dessert in general?
I like brownies and stuff, but I'm more of a just kind of chocolate bar kind of person.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm a chocolate person myself.
I'm a cookies and cream guy.
Cookies and cream?
Yeah.
Yeah, good cookies and cream. It's hard to beat. So, Finland, excuse me, I'll stay with you. Sundrop or Cheerwine?
Cheerwine.
Cheerwine?
Yeah.
Cheerwine.
Cheerwine?
Sundrop.
Sundrop. Okay. If you want to hear what Roxann's answers to all these, you can go back to episode 30 and you can hear all her answers to these questions. How about favorite local restaurant, or is it Tony's Hot Dogs?
No.
So Chill, favorite.
I'm not sure if it's local, but Papa's and Beers.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
I've Enzo's Pizza.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Bubba's
33.
Yeah. Good burger.
They got a good burger there, don't they? That's exactly right. How about favorite outdoor activity in Gaston County, or favorite park? Finland, start with you on that one.
Favorite park? Probably Lineberger.
Yeah.
Go play basketball.
Yeah, I grew up on Fern Forest Drive, and my grandmother lived on 4th Street, which runs right behind Lineberger Park. I spent a lot of time in Lineberger Park growing up.
I would probably say Lineberger Park, but I kind of grew up at the Phillips Center, so I'm also kind of biased to them.
Oh, yeah, Phillips Center's great.
Martha
Rivers?
Yeah,
I was just there this morning with my F3 group. Matter of fact, hadn't F3 done some stuff with you guys? Yeah. I just couldn't make that work out, but my good friend, Josh Langford, I think, who led that up for us. That's something I'm heavily involved with. So I just popped in my head when I said we meet there on Monday and Wednesday mornings at Martha Rivers and work out there. A bunch of old men. So Chill, this is the most important question. Okay. And I'm afraid I already know the answer. UNC, Duke, or NC State?
UNC.
Next.
For sports, I'm going to say Chapel Hill. But for the better school, I would say North Carolina State.
No.
I knew I was going to like you when you came in. Now, it's also UNCC, just for the record, is an acceptable answer. Okay, this is just this is just what I do. Sorry. Feeling
UNC.
Okay, well, so we're outvoted, kind of. So, next question. Finland, what is something very few people know about you? That can be a tough question.
That is a tough question. That's one you got to think about.
What you're going to share, right?
Yeah, that's something very few people know about me.
Yeah, this is recorded and on video forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So maybe we can share this with your kids one day.
Yeah.
Because my kids love to see old things of me, old pictures and stuff that embarrass me.
Some people don't know that I'm. That's a stumper. I don't know.
All right, well, I tell you what, we'll let you think about it. Since Kennedy and Sochio had a chance to think about it. Kennedy, you have an answer for that one? Or
I'm not sure what I want to share.
that's why we asked that question.
I'm not quite sure. Probably that my toes are double jointed.
Your toes are double jointed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I'm pretty sure in 128 other episodes, we've never had that answer. That's good. So, Chill, what about you? Do you have an answer to that question?
Mine's like not as interesting as double jointed. I have 6 cats.
6 cats?
Yeah, about to be a 7th because one of them came to my door this morning and it was really hurt. And I told my mom that we had to take it to the vet and keep it. And she said yes.
So were you one of those compassionate animal persons that just can't say no to cats?
Yeah.
What do they call it? The cat distribution center? Like the system? The cats just find you.
It does. They do.
So yeah, that's like a second strike because I'm not a cat person.
So you're crazy,
chill.
so you're a crazy cat lady?
UNC.
Yes.
UNC and cats. Finland. So you had a couple. They gave you some extra time to think about that. Have you come up with something?
I like to make music sometimes in my free time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something specific? Type of music?
Yeah. I make some rap songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Can we get a freestyle?
No, I'm talking.
Yeah, that might be. Actually, that might get our viewership up.
If you don't mind.
So this is a question I like to ask, and again, I appreciate you indulging us on those little Gaston County questions. And this is a question we typically ask of our guests, but because remember, this is a podcast about why Gaston County is such a great place, and you guys, the Dream Center Academy, and you 3 are obviously reasons for that. But besides the Dream Center Academy, maybe start with you again, Sochio. Why would you say Gaston County is such a great place?
Wow, it's such a deep question.
We've had fun. Now we're getting serious.
I know. I've been here actually I haven't been here for all my life. I've been here for 15 years.
Okay.
And
That's long enough.
We
We'll call you. We consider you from Gaston County.
Yes, I think the organizations just are really what makes the place great for me. I would say the people, but some people here are okay. I really do think that organizations are a great place. I think if you would have asked me a couple years, I would have been like, nothing is good about this place. But now, since I'm so involved, I think there's so many great programs, whether it's academically or just for fun. Dream Center obviously being one of them, in my first one. Eastside Church has a great tutoring program for after school kids. I'm part of that, and I've really developed that's probably where I got my like for kids, maybe, because it definitely wasn't at home. And then United Way, I'm part of the United Way Youth Council, such an amazing things. So I was just
that's good to hear.
Yeah,
I've been involved in United Way for a long time.
Yeah, so I just think the organizations really make us in a great place. So.
Very good. Candy, how would you answer that?
So I've grown up in Gaston County, and I feel like it's such a small, tight-knit community.
Right.
So everybody I grew up with, I still know them. If we see each other out in public, most of the time we're going to speak to each other.
Yeah.
And the fact that, we might have went to elementary school with somebody, got separated in middle school, and then came back together in high school. I've had a lot of friends who we've rebuilt our friendships in high school because we knew each other from elementary school.
Oh, that's good. Finland, I'll let you go last again so you can think about it.
Yeah. Gaston County has a lot to offer, in many different areas. When I was younger, I really didn't go nowhere that much, but as you get older, you start to venture out more. You see different things. So, yeah, that's why I say.
Yeah, it's a unique county, not just what y'all have described, but, very few landlocked counties have a couple of rivers and lakes and a mountain. That's kind of weird for, Crowder's Mountain right here. And for me, it's always been the people. But I've had the good fortune the last 25 years, especially, to be involved in so many community. You mentioned Rotary. I'm a Rotarian, and just those type of organizations. I was the chair of the board for United Way a few years ago, and so those organizations are just so important to our community. We try our best to support the Dream Center Academy when we can, as an example, and it's just that's part of our charge. So when I talk about wanting young people like you to stay in the county or come back to the county, that's the reason. We need new young leaders coming back because I'm old, and we just need those younger people like yourselves, to be here, to I can say carry on, but that's not right. To improve and expand on what doofuses like me and others have tried to do over the years. So, this has really been terrific, and I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate what you're doing. So, any last words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share to maybe other students or families out there who don't know about the Dream Center Academy, who don't know anything that I'm just going to throw that out there for all of you, including you, Roxann. Anything y'all would like to kind of finish off with?
Yeah, sure. So like earlier you asked why somebody would want their kid to be part of Dream Center, and I didn't really get to answer the question. And I would just say if your kid just doesn't have like a well community around them, is shy or just really introverted, I would just say go to Dream Center. I think you really do get to build amazing friendships and relationships. And I do think that we have foster parents at Dream Center. I probably tell them more than I tell my own parents. And they're probably sick and tired of that. And I just think you really do get to build and discover yourself in a way you probably wouldn't do, or just get an extra chance. And I do think it does open a lot for different communities, whether you're first generation, low income, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think the Dream Center just does a really good job. I think anybody that has come through our doors what I've noticed, haven't really said anything bad about it. I think the staff, Dream Center does a really good job of just providing such amazing staff that cares about you, that are there for you. And I think that's one of the things that makes Dream Center what it is.
Wow.
She summed it up pretty good.
That was pretty good. I was going to say, is there? I was going to ask anything to add to that, or did she cover it pretty well?
She did.
She covered it pretty well. Yeah, the Dream Center, it gives you the opportunity to do community service, to meet new people. It just gives you all types of different opportunities that most low-income families won't get the chance to see. And that's the big thing, is we're a very diverse group of students, as well as a lot of us are either first generation or come from low-income families, or both. So it just gives you the opportunity to reach new limits that most of the time your family might not be able to give you.
Wow. Good. Roxann, can you follow that? Or
Wow. Well, I'm thinking of the phrase, it takes a village. And so I feel like that's what we are. And I'm going to get emotional here, but
it's okay.
It is a village. It's their parents, first of all, who are their supporters. And then we hope to be a part of that Dream Center Academy, their schools, and then those partnerships that we have within the community that spill into their lives as well. And that's what makes Gaston great, is that we are a community who wants to support one another. I'm going to let Trey share, and then when we are about to wrap up, I kind of want to close with something of how we started our first year.
Okay.
Come back to me then.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything you want to add?
Just to back what So Chill said.
Okay.
Help you become your best self. When I first came there, I was say that I was a follower, doing what everybody else was doing, and it helped me to become the young man I am today, become a leader. Put my first foot forward.
Well, wow, leadership is something that I'm a huge fan of and studying, and we work on that here at our company. That's why I'm involved with a group like F3. And so I'm glad to hear that. So I'm going to finish off with my I typically do a book recommendation and then a quote or thought for the week, and then I'll come back to you, Roxann, to help to close it out. But I picked these intentionally this week. It's actually a book I recently read by John Maxwell. I'm a huge fan of John Maxwell. If you're not familiar with him, I'd encourage you to check him out. He's probably considered the leadership current guru for leadership concepts. And I just recently read a book called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In fact, he got another book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And my leadership study group on Sunday mornings that's the book we're actually going through. And I picked my quote or thought for the week on purpose. It's actually one this is probably a repeat from 2 or 3 years ago on the podcast, but I'm a huge fan of Dr. Seuss. I think you can learn everything in life you need from Dr. Seuss, Yoda, and the movie The Godfather. If you're in, I think you can be pretty much set. But Dr. Seuss said, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. So you guys are, obviously just finished high school, and you're getting ready to go on this journey of the next part of your, what I would call your formal education, so to speak. But I would also encourage you, don't let your formal education get in the way of the other learning that's out there. As much as this, I owe so much to NC State and my engineering degree, but I've learned much more since then. So I would just encourage you to be lifelong learners, and that's what's helped me, especially the last 15 or 20 years. I've got involved in the community, and I realized how little I knew, so that humility can help with that. So, yeah, before we close out, Roxann, I'll shoot it back to you.
So as I was thinking about sharing about Dream Center Academy today and thinking about our first class of graduates, how proud we are of them, I remembered it was the very first verse I ever shared with them, because we do devotions with our students as well. And that verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And I just feel like that, with his guidance, we have done that for these students.
Wow, that's pretty good. Would y'all agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing that, because we have had more than one episode where we have had religious organizations on. We are a company that we try to live by Judeo-Christian values. So again, I appreciate that. Even I've already read my daily devotional this morning, which is something I try to do every day. That's nothing I would encourage you guys to do, whether it's leadership, your faith, just anything that you can learn and be consistent about. That's just that when people ask me, especially young people, what's the one lesson you could share, that's typically what I share. It's just keep learning, because it's a never-ending process. Yeah, you know, if you get to a day where you think, you know what, I know it all, you're in trouble. And I think when I was younger, there was probably a time when I thought that, and I learned quickly that just wasn't the case. But so, Roxann, I appreciate greatly your efforts in the work and your commitment to our community. And it's if there's ever an example of the fruits of that, we're seeing it here today. So again, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to come talk with us today. It's been my pleasure to get to know you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, you're very welcome. Maybe you can come back in a few years and talk about your next step of success. We would love to hear from you guys as you go forward. So as we normally do, we're going to just finish off this episode. To our listeners out there, thanks for taking the time to listen to today's episode. Please continue to spread the word if you can about the podcast, and don't hesitate to contact us at our email address here, which is podcast@gastonsgreat.com. We're always looking for suggestions for future podcast topics and guests. You know where to find the podcast and subscribe at our website or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. And many thanks again to So Chill, Kennedy, Finland, and Roxann for being our guests today. Gaston's Greatest Producer, brought to you by Naomi Hunt and Amy Anderson from GSM Services. I'm your host, Stephen Long. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and please keep coming back to hear more reasons why Gaston's great.